Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be going over my StamDK build for the Firesong chapter. Before we get started, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It is the freest way to support me, and that's all I really ask for. Just hit that subscribe button. It's so easy. That way you can get notified for all my future builds as well, which we always test. But guys, I really have been enjoying this one. I feel kind of meh on StamDK most of the time. I always usually like MagDK better, but honestly, this build has felt really strong, and I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a lot of fun, and I think that you guys would enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get on with the build. Alright guys, let's get started. First things first, we're going to look at our character sheet. We definitely want to be an Imperial on our StamDK. Imperial, in my opinion, is the best in slot race for this. I know it's the only one that costs extra, but I still recommend it regardless. The reduced cost passive on all of it really helps your sustain. We're not really building much into sustain, so having this is really going to be the difference, in my opinion, from being able to use all your abilities and not really running out of resources, and honestly running out of resources. Our attributes are going to be broken down like this: 17 points into health and 47 points into stamina to give us a nice health pool of 32.7k, a max stam pool of 24.8k, and a max magic pool of 15.1k. Our Mundus is going to be the warrior to increase our weapon damage. The food that we're using is going to be Orzorga smoked bear haunch to increase our max health by 4,300 and our stamina and magic recovery by 369. And then also, as always, if you can't use the Orzorga smoked bear haunch, it's a very expensive food. I don't blame you. Try this food instead, the Jewels of Misrule food. It's basically the exact same thing. You lose a little bit of health and a little bit of stamina and magic recovery, but overall, it's basically the exact same thing, and it is crazy cheaper. And then, as always, Vamp Stage 3 is going to have it so that we have our Undeath passive, and honestly, that is massive. It is the best way that we can be tanky at low health, because it's the passive is when you're at lower health, the less damage you take, and it's up to 30%. So that is massive. I definitely recommend that. It is a great way to stay alive when you're lower health. Our gear is going to be broken down like this. Our monster set, as always on DK, is going to be Bloodspawn. Our helmet is going to be heavy reinforced, and our shoulder is going to be medium impen. Bloodspawn is 1-piece stem recovery, and the 2-piece is when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate and increase your physical and spell resistance by 3,700 for 5 seconds. So that is really good for both your tankiness and your sustain, because your Dragonites are always built off of your ultimate sustain. Since you have the one passive right here, let me find it real quick. Oh god, oh no, I should have been more prepared. I'm always bad at finding the skills, guys. Oh lord, this is already so embarrassing. I can't find it. Right there, Battle Roar. When you cast an ultimate ability, restore 56 health, 50 magic, and 50 stamina for each point of the ultimate spent. So having Bloodspawn and getting your ult gen as soon as possible is massive, and I definitely recommend it. So this is where we differ a lot from our normal DK builds. We're going to be using Curse of the Fire on this one. So this is going to be our front bar set. We're going to be using a heavy reinforced chest piece. And what way the fire does is it gives you one line of weapon and spell damage, a line of max stamina, a line of crit chance. And then when you deal damage with a weapon, you deal an additional 3,158 flame damage. So this is completely unbuffed, so it's going to be even higher. And this effect can occur once every 2 seconds. So that is massive, because on this build, we're going to be using Rending Slash as one of our abilities, or Blood Craze, sorry, same thing basically. And since this gives you a dot and it's done with a weapon, it's one of the weapon abilities, the dot on this ability also procs your Way of the Fire. So your Way of the Fire, every time you're on your front bar, every 2 seconds, that ability is going to proc. That set is going to proc. So for me, I think this has been a no-brainer to use on a build like this. It is free extra sustained damage every 2 seconds, and the tooltip on it gets pretty high when you're buffed up. So I definitely recommend using this. I think it's a lot of fun, and I've been putting this on a lot of different builds lately, and it has been shredding. I think I've been using this on Stamsorc, Stamplar, and then now StamDK, and it has been phenomenal. I've been really enjoying it. And then our waist piece is going to be a medium belt of the trainee in Divines. We have an extra slot in this build, so trainee is going to give us that one extra line of max health. Our hands are going to be medium bracers of the trainee and impen. I'm sorry, medium Daedric Trickery and impen. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So Daedric Trickery is going to be our back bar set. It's going to give you a line of max health, a line of max stamina. The 4-piece is going to be max magic, and then the 5-piece, which is our back bar, is going to be when you deal damage, you gain 1 of 5 random major buffs for 21 seconds, and that it can occur every 9 seconds. So the buffs can be either expedition, protection, mending, heroism, or vitality. So basically you're going to be either fast, tanky, or you're going to get a lot of healing, or you're going to get a lot of ult gen. So that is a great set in my opinion, because you have a lot of dots that are being put down on all of your enemies. So you just go to your back bar for 2 seconds, not even. You literally just switch to your back bar, let a dot proc, and then you just go back to your front bar, your Daedric Trigger, your proc. So that is phenomenal, and honestly, it's been a lot of fun to use this. This has been a staple in Dragon Knights for a long time, and it's just really good. Our legs are going to be heavy Daedric Trickery in Reinforced. Our feet are going to be medium Daedric Trickery in Impen. Our jewelry is going to be a Necklace of the Fire in the Infused trait with a weapon damage enchantment on it. Our mythic on this is going to be Marken Ring of the Majesty in the Infused trait with a weapon damage glyph on it. Marken is going to give us a line of 200 weapon and spell damage, and also 2,314 armor. So we're going to be tanky, and we get more damage on this. You always love to see that. And then our other ring is going to be Ring of the Fire in the Infused trait with a weapon damage enchantment on it. I've been really liking Infused over Bloodthirsty lately. I know that everybody says Bloodthirsty is better, but honestly, we only are going to have 2 heals on this. So having our weapon damage as high as possible to keep our Resolving Vigor tooltip up is honestly, in my opinion, very important. So that's why I'm doing this, and I really still feel like I hit really hard on this build. I really like this build, guys. And then our front bar set is going to be dual-wield Maces of the Fire. Our main hand is going to be a Nirnhoned mace with a shock damage glyph on it. And then our offhand is going to be a charged mace with a disease enchantment on it. And then our back bar is going to be an Ice Staff of Daedric Trickery and the defending trait with an increased weapon and spell damage glyph on it. That way we increase our weapon damage a little bit more whenever we light attack on our back bar. And then also, everybody always asks this. So Ice Staff is going to basically give you defenses. So it's the magic resource back of basically Sword and Shield. So that's why I use Ice Staff, guys. Holding that for your back bar is really good for your defenses. Ice Staff is, in my opinion, best in slot for your back bar nowadays. I don't even use Sword and Shield anymore. And then onto our skills. Our front bar is going to be Molten Whip. Every time you get 3 stacks of this, you are going to be hitting like a truck. So the tooltip without your stacks is going to be 9,000 exactly on the dot. So that's easy to remember. Say we do 3 stacks right now, 3 stacks, and then we go back to this. Oh god, what bar am I on? Oh wait, I wasn't even buffed either. And now we're buffed up. So now is going to be 16,900. So the difference between buffing up and not buffing up is crazy, guys. Don't forget to buff up and use those 3-stack whips, trust me. So the difference was, since we're not buffed up and now we are, the difference was 16,000, almost 17,000 compared to 10,000. So definitely keep those buffs up and get your 3-stacks whipped out there. And then Shattering Rocks is going to be your main CC on this build. I like this morph a lot because we only have 2 heals on our back bar, so this is going to be an extra heal. But this is a great CC. It can't be blocked, and it's a great way to combo your 3rd stack whip into getting a really hard hit in there. That way you make sure that they're not blocking. Blood Craze, you hit this on your enemy, and that Wave of the Fire is proccing. So not only is the initial damage of this going to hit, but you're also going to get that 20-second bleed over time from your Blood Craze. And on top of that, your Wave of the Fire. So that does a lot of damage to that dot. And honestly, don't sleep on that. Make sure your enemies always have that on you, on them. And then Noxious Breath. This is going to be a great way to open up your fight because this is going to afflict your enemies with Major Breach, reducing their physical and spell resistance by 6k. And also, it gives some nice damage out there, so don't forget to spam this. And then Flames of Oblivion, this is going to be our final ability on our front bar. This is going to be a great source of extra damage. It really hits hard when you're in the middle of a fight. You activate that, and then you just go to Blood Craze, Noxious, that 3rd stack whip, and that Flames of Oblivion is hitting every few seconds. it is hitting really hard, so don't sleep on that. It's an extra really good source of sustained damage, and on top of that, you gain Major Prophecy and Savagery, increasing your spell and weapon crit by 2,600. And then finally, our ultimate on the front bar is going to be Take Flight. I really like this ultimate. It hits so hard when you're in the middle of, you're fully buffed up, and you hit them with the Shattering Rocks combo, hit them with the Take Flight, the 3-stack whip combo, and that does crazy good damage. I like it. It's a great way to secure kills since we don't really have an execute on this. But on top of that, it also has some really nice range. So if somebody's trying to run from you, you just take them out with that Take Flight. And then finally, our back bar, it's going to be Igneous Weapons. This is going to give you Major Brutality and Sorcery for 1.2 minutes. So it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 20%. So make sure that's always up. It's got a 1.2 minute cooldown. So that is a long time, guys. Really, you don't have to worry about that. If you can't keep that buff up, I don't know what to tell you guys. That is a really easy one to keep up. And then Race Against Time, this is going to be your snare removal and your immobilization from them. So this is a great way, say that you're against a Magden, they're spamming that ice wall. Hit that, you're CC immune for 4 seconds, and it is phenomenal. And then also you get Major Expedition and Minor Force. So it's going to increase your movement speed by 30%, and it's going to increase your critical damage by 10%. And then Resolving Vigor, this is going to be your main heal over time. So this is going to give you a 5-second heal. And then on top of that, you're going to get Minor Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 3k. Coagulating Blood, this is going to be your main burst heal. So Resolving Vigor is going to be a way to keep your health up. But Coag is when you're taking too much damage and you really need to shoot that health right back up. That's going to be the way to do it. The lower health you are, the higher you are, the harder you're going to hit that. And then Volatile Armor, this is going to be your source of Major Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 6k. And on top of that, you're putting some nice dots on the enemy too. So honestly, it's really nice. And then Corrosive, what to say about Corrosive? It is the best ultimate in the game. You limit your incoming damage to 3% of your max health, so you are very, very, very tanky. You're doing poison damage to enemies around you for 12 seconds as well. And then on top of that, you're ignoring your enemy's physical and spell resistance, so you're hitting like an absolute truck. So imagine you're in Corrosive, you get that 3-stack whip, you're ready to go, you dot him up, you hit him with that Shattering Rocks, and then you hit him with the Molten Whip. I've hit so hard with that Molten Whip in Corrosive. I definitely recommend. I go for Corrosive way more than I go for Leap on this build. I just love Corrosive. It's so easy. And then finally, our champion points, our blue slottables are going to be Ironclad, Deadly Aim, Mastered Arms, and Focus Mending. Our red slottables are going to be Sustained by Suffering, Survival Instincts, Celerity, and Pain's Refuge. Our green slottables, the only things that really matter in the green tree are Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, and Breakfall. And that is the entire build. I have been really enjoying this one. StamDK has been a lot of fun. Usually I feel lukewarm on StamDK builds, but honestly, this has been a really fun one to use, and I definitely recommend this one if you're looking for a build out there. You know, who knows? But if you guys want to see builds like this live in action, you can catch me live at twitch.tv/Sekaar, where I stream 5 days a week. Come check it out. Also, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, please do so. It is free, and it is the best way to support me. Just saying. But I won't talk your ears off anymore, guys. Thank you guys for watching the video. Thank you for staying to the end, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.